Have you ever wondered why it can be so difficult for some people to love?
Essentially, when you sense a disconnection from others or find yourself longing for love, it often reflects a deficiency in self-love.
If you feel like you are not receiving enough love from other people, or you just don't love the reality that you're experiencing, it always comes down to how connected you are to yourself. Because ultimately, adding more things into your life isn't going to produce more joy. And this is something that people often encounter as a challenge when they try to manifest new variables into their reality to fill the inner void. If you have a space of loneliness within you, and you feel like you need to be disconnected from your true sense of self, it doesn't matter what you add in terms of possessions, people, even the optimal relationship, or anything in your life that you want to have enter your field, will not bring you that true feeling of deep fulfillment and inner joy, unless you choose to first be connected to your true sense of self.
Ultimately, the essence of this journey towards self-awareness is the return to oneself. Recognizing that at the core of all experiences and challenges lies your own being.
And at the end of every day, you need to meet your own soul and feel if you're living authentically or not. And that answer will determine how much love you feel for yourself and in your life.
If you're not true to yourself, you're going to end up magnetizing more variables of falsity, people that seem false, situations that don't allow you to experience true contentment, and all of that is just going to be indicating that you're not actually connected to yourself.
So ultimately, to be connected to reality in a loving way means to first and foremost be connected to your own sense of self, and to realize, what do you really represent? As a soul, not as an ego, because your ego will always find more ways to create illusions of the self and things that you think that you need and want and need to become in order to achieve happiness. But ultimately, becoming a false version of yourself will never allow you to experience bliss. Becoming a false version of yourself will never allow you to experience bliss.
And so the deeper agenda that all of us have as more conscious souls on the awakening pathway is to understand how can we become the truer version of ourselves.
To truly be, and not to think that we need to become this alter ego of ourselves in order to experience love. Love is only found in genuine connection, which means it starts from within, and it starts with choosing to devote yourself to more self-love, to experience more love on the unfolding path of your life.
Your path is shaped by how you see yourself. By understanding your inner dynamics and relationships, you gain clarity about your identity.
And based on thinking about the kind of people that you manifest into your lives, you can understand the kind of person who you are at your core.
Mastering your world begins with connecting to your senses and emotions. Empaths, with their unique ability to deeply connect with others' emotions, excel as exceptional listeners and compassionate companions. How do you navigate this delicate balance in your own journey of self-mastery?
An empath is a kind of individual who is more compassionate, more generous, more kind on the surface. And the reason why is because there's something very deep, energetic in nature happening within that kind of an individual.
The genesis of empathy typically unfolds during childhood, often in the face of neglect from a family member.
This is not always the case, but very often an empath is actually a trauma response. So it's a response to you not receiving the kind of love that you wanted to feel as a child, and so you learn to be overgiving. You learn to give love, in essence, in order to receive it.
So your status of yourself is determined by how people perceive you.
And if you were not given the kind of treatment that you thought you deserved, you start becoming that version of yourself, giving to other people, expecting the same treatment in return, maybe wanting to people please, and attracting the wrong kinds of people because of this kind of behavior within yourself.
On the flip side, narcissism pulls individuals towards self-centeredness, distorting genuine connections as they prioritize their own needs above all else.
A narcissist is essentially an individual who entirely lacks the idea of self-love. A narcissist is essentially an individual who entirely lacks the idea of self-love.
Caligula's reign as Roman emperor was characterized by his overt narcissism. He displayed excessive self-glorification, disregarded human life, and believed in his own divinity. These narcissistic tendencies defined his rule, leading to a reputation for tyranny and cruelty, culminating in his assassination by conspirators within his own court.
So what you don't see beneath the surface of a narcissist's mask is that they entirely lack a sense of self-awareness. They don't know how to deeply connect to their own feelings, and so they lack true connection. Because of this, and as we've been discussing, the narcissist is unable to experience true love, because they can't fully connect to and within themselves. When a narcissist and an empath are in a relationship, it's a very kind of troubling dynamic, because the two end up becoming trauma bonded. This is when, in the entanglement, you have one person who needs the other, because both of them cannot feel completely whole within themselves. Because both of them cannot feel completely whole within themselves. In this way, we can see that the empath and the narcissist are really two ends of one spectrum. Meanwhile, most people think that empaths and narcissists are two very different kinds of people. At their core, they are the same. Both the empath and the narcissist are unable to really meet their own needs. They don't know how to give themselves the kind of love that they are seeking. And so they end up bonding to the wrong kinds of people in order to receive the validation and treatment that they want in order to fill their inner void.
So empathy and narcissism really exists on one continuum of human emotion.
In our human experience, we all go through certain moments that can make us more narcissistic or more empathetic in nature. Very often, we all experience times of narcissism because that is just the nature of what it means to be human. We all exist in this lower dimensional realm, which means we all have an ego. And the ego is not necessarily a bad thing. It's the core identity. It's what we use to survive.
It acts as both a shield and a compass, shielding our vulnerabilities while guiding us towards self-discovery, shaping our identity, and clarifying our desires and goals in life.
Which means that when we learn to love our ego, we can learn to become more authentic and connect to the soul in that loving, integrated way. However, when that isn't achieved, then narcissism can become a staple aspect of our lives. And basically, the way that narcissism is formed is when a child is not allowed to really be themselves.
Cultivating self-awareness, humility, and a healthy self-worth is essential for navigating the ego's realm, averting narcissism and self-centeredness. This balance enables genuine connections, empathy, and independence.
In turn, the goal for the human experience is really to learn how to be more loving towards yourself and other people. So it's important to start to recognize where in your life you are creating this kind of discontinuity.
When humans put on a mask to appear lovable and likable, it often arises from ego-driven desires for social acceptance. How can we navigate this and cultivate self-love amid external pressures and expectations?
So to start loving yourself, you need to start seeing that loving yourself unconditionally is the only way you can actually create an inner environment within yourself to start living in the spirit of love, to start doing the things that you love by believing that you are worthy of actually loving yourself in this life.
Being in the frequency of love entails focusing on activities, emotions, and experiences that align with that vibration.
That means that whatever doesn't feel like it's in alignment with your own heart will be something that you naturally gravitate away from, rather than choosing the things that you think you need to be doing in order to be lovable.
If you don't authentically express your inner qualities externally, you won't give others the opportunity to appreciate and love you for who you truly are.
Unless you can see that love is something that can be achieved when you authentically understand yourself and invest time in understanding who you are, in giving to yourself, in exploring your deeper curiosities, expanding your talents, bringing your potential to the table by choosing to represent yourself in the most loving way, you will never be able to see how other people can appreciate you.
In the realm of spirituality, self-discovery is a sacred journey. It begins with recognizing the inherent divinity within oneself and fostering deep, authentic connections as the essence of love.
I want you to imagine what it would take to love yourself the way that your soul would love you. Or if you never felt like you were unconditionally loved by a parent or a caregiver or by society when you were just growing up, consider what it would mean to give yourself the kind of love that you have always been seeking. If you feel like the inner child inside of you is craving that admiration, that appreciation, somebody acknowledging your deeper inner qualities, consider what kind of affection you needed from the external world to validate your inner experience. What did you need to hear from the world around you that maybe you didn't end up hearing that would allow you to bring your true colors out, to allow your inner self to shine? So I challenge you to go into the state of love that is always authentically within yourself. Try to recall what it means to be love, not just to create love or to receive it, but to actually be a generating force of this element of universal oneness. And that same way is going to allow you to create more love in your relationships, in your partnerships, and all aspects of your career and personal life, as that state within you will make you a contagious force for more love and receptivity in your life. One of the team members taught me an interesting exercise that relates to activating your energy to be as one with the sun, as the connection to the sun is a very prominent, ritualistic, and sacred practice in the Ecuadorian tradition. And so what you do for this exercise is when you are meeting the sun in the beginning or the ending of the day, upon sunrise or sunset, what you do is you bring your hands together and first activate your palm chakras by rubbing your hands together and feeling the energy between your hands. Then as you feel that field, move your hands down and feel the earth, and really encourage the connection between your hands and the earth to form. As you start to feel grounded and in the earth element, you then bring your hands to the sides of your body and raise them up to meet the sun. And you bring your hands together in a triangle so that what you see between your palms is the sun's natural light coming your way. Feel this connection to the sun, and as you feel this energy, you really experience the gratitude towards the sunlight, towards the natural rays of sun that invite this energy into your personal being. And finally, you wrap the exercise up by bringing the sunlight into your own heart. You place your palms over your heart space and really feel this connection to the sun and to all of life. And doing this exercise created a beautiful sense of connection to the natural earth, to the sunlight, and you really start to feel that what's above is also below, as you start to feel like you are a vessel of the same consciousness that unites the above and the below aspects of the universe.